Hi, so I want to thank APG Jamie for starting this hashtag, and it is stitches. It's third Sunday prompt, and this prompt is stitches. I'm using my embroidery machine, and you can see here I'm redoing this part because I didn't get it on film, so I figured I'd redo it for you. It's stitching out a I want to say a feminine icon. It's the picture there. You'll see that's what it's going to look like. And I'm doing it just on um, it's a water soluble sheet, but the first one I did for the hop was actually done on a regular background sheet. And this is the canvas. It's going to be put on a big 8x11 canvas, and I'm getting it ready with some inks, distress inks. I'm using purple and blues. Just seems to be the colors I always go to. And there's three colors, the purple, the blue, and I think I want to call it a teal. And just played around with it until I got something I really liked. I added some water, smushed things around, sprayed it a little bit, dried it, sprayed it, the whole 9 yards. This is what everything is sped up super, super fast because I'm trying to keep it within the time frame. So the first part was done on a small piece of watercolor paper, and it was just too small. So we cut it out, and now I'm attaching it to the canvas. And actually that worked out pretty good because it just made things a lot easier to manipulate. And I'm using some Tim Holtz tissue paper. You see on the top there is a peace sign that comes from, or a sign that says Pete's, and that is another embroidered item. It also is done on stabilizer. There's water soluble, and then there's just plain stabilizer. So I had to I had to renegotiate some things there. So that the water soluble I think would work out a lot better, but we kind of like the way the icon came out on the watercolor paper, so we kept it that way. And I work intuitively. I really, I had the idea that I wanted to use the embroidery machine piece on a piece of artwork, but how it was going to look doesn't come to me automatically, and just doing things as it comes to me. So just kind of fill in the background with some tissue paper and gel medium. That's all that is. And just trying to make sure everything gets put down. I usually don't care how the tissue paper looks, but in this case I did arrange them so they were upright in the right direction, and that's pretty much it. I wrapped around when I could. Some pieces I couldn't do wraparounds on, so that's just like I said, whatever. It's very intuitive. There is no rhyme or reason, and basically I just keep going till it comes out right. So I had this washi tape, and I really liked it, even though it's a lot darker. I think in the end you're going to see it does pull together. It looks like it stands out right now, but I do add more later on, and I think it comes out really good. So I added that heart that has a crown. I drew that and cut it out and pasted it to the top of my little icon. And I had some beaded work. It was a star, and I pasted that on there. And you can see some of the beads came off, and what I have to do is later on I'm going to put on a mass of glue to make sure it stays there. I know the yellow goes, but I didn't like it, and eventually I'm going to change that. But I also felt like I couldn't get the centerpiece to stand out. it looks on the video, it looks okay, but there was something about it. It just would fall into the background. You just really couldn't tell it. It was really the vocal point. So we sat with it for a while, and I came up with doing a little added bonus around it. And right now, all I'm doing is adding some glue because I don't want the washi tape to come off. It does stick. It sticks well. Obviously, you can see I'm having a hard time pulling it up. But I really wanted to make sure that it would adhere for a long time. And we sit with this for a while. I added some marks with a Posca pens because I wanted some more detail in it. I wanted it to really be a multimedia or a mixed media. And of course, we can't get out of here without doing some paint splashes. And I just find that it's really kind of fun. And that's acrylic ink, and I just watered it down and then just kind of had at it. And I really did like the way the background came out with nothing else. It really impressed me, if I can be impressed. So I'm just covering my vocal point for the moment because I'm not sure I wanted the splatters on her. I was thinking that it could possibly make her stand out more if the splatters were around her rather than, and the whole place is splattered down, rather than on her. And again, it sort of looks okay, but I don't know, I needed more. So I took some paints. I just kind of making marks with some acrylic paint that I used. I mixed it in with the ink and just kind of did some markings around it. Now, here's my attempt at trying to make her stand out, because actually she doesn't stand out the way she was. See? And this is what I came up with. So there's this, the material that you use for the stabilizer for embroidery machines, you cut that away. There's very rarely can you use it for anything else. But here, and I'll bring it in, here I felt like if I could outline the outside so it made her pop, more or less, right? It sort of pulled her away from the canvas. So I pleated it and then glued it, and I have to use some pins. Even though she does stand up just a little bit in some areas where I can get the glue underneath, I did have to kind of push it in. So I'm using my seam ripper to push in the material and get it to stay. Eventually I used pins, and you have to be careful with pins. One, that you don't go through the canvas. Two, that if they get stuck with the glue, then you've got a pin stuck in there. I suppose that's an art piece too. I don't know. It wasn't what I was looking for. So we're gonna be seeing that shortly. I thought I sped this up. I think I did. Yeah, because definitely I don't move that quickly. And if you put in the hashtag Third Sunday Prompt, you're going to get a whole bunch of other people that are doing this. And I just, like I said, the prompt is stitches. And you'll see how everybody takes that prompt and uses it in a multitude of ways. Sometimes people do the same thing, which I find interesting because we all think that we're being creative and we came up with something we don't think anybody else will do, and then it turns out you might see someone else do exactly the same thing. And it just goes to show you that sometimes, people put copyrights on stuff and they figure, oh, I'm the one that came up with it first. Well, it's interesting how you can come up with the same thing that someone else did, and they could be in a completely different place than you are, like in a different state, a different country, and you guys are doing the same thing. So I just put that out there. What can I tell you? We're getting there. We're getting to where it's going to come together. I think we'll see. You'll see how. Actually, I guess the pins wouldn't be too bad, but I thought I do trim this. I don't keep it quite like this because it just seems to be, and as you can see, I didn't wait for it to completely dry, but if it was enough that it held the pleat, I pulled it out. And we're just going to complete that. And I trimmed down the fabric just a little bit to where it was okay for my eye. Now, if you notice, the piece lettering was a different color. The threading was really difficult to see, so I thought, oh, let me make it all one color. So I tried to do it. Well, first I did the coloring on what is the background flowers, and I colored them yellow because I know yellow and purple will go together, and sort of thought, well, maybe that'll bring it out. And then I colored in each of the embroidery stitches with paint metallic. That didn't show up as well, and when we put it up to look at it, wasn't happy with it. So I decided that the best thing for me to do to get it to stand out, and since there was white next to the icon, I decided to use the paint on the lettering embroidery to make it stand out. And it sort of goes together, I thought, white with white. And I just left the yellow flowers in the background. And you can see this is actually it can be a keychain if you make it with material. I didn't. I put it on just a stabilizer. And I think what would have been nice if I had really given it some thought, but I was concerned about how this was coming out. The water-soluble stabilizer, if you do something, you can use this water-soluble, and it dissolves in water. And I thought later on, maybe I should have done that. That might have gotten it to kind of meld into the canvas. I think I will try that on another sheet. I don't know. We'll see if I can find something that I think would be kind of cool. And if you could take a peek around while I'm painting, you see how the background I really like the background. It really came out nice. I'm very pleased with that. Anyway, I digress. Jamie set this up, so it would be really great if you would, give her a little bit of love. And remember that subscribing is free if you're not already subscribed, and if you are, it is really greatly appreciated, as well as likes and comments, because that does tell YouTube that this is material that it tells me. I mean, the comment and the likes usually just tell me what's going on. The subscribing tells YouTube. I kind of like to have feedback on things I show because I'm never sure what people are interested in. I do what I like, but that doesn't mean that's what everybody wants to see. So rather than waste your time or my time. So you see the little halo there, the yellow by the female character. I changed that too because that was bothering me. Initially, when it was on the watercolor paper, it sort of went because of what I did to the watercolor paper, but on this it didn't go so well. Now hang on, there's still more that we're doing here. See, I decided to add more washi tape because that one, I still liked it. I liked the washi tape so much. It's got planets and feathers, and it has a dark blue, which I really liked. It's sort of connected with the icon because she has some dark spots on her too, and I like that. I appreciate any information about what you liked, maybe what you didn't like, and how you how things are going. How are we doing? Are we doing what we need to do? Anyway, I hope you like this, and that we'll see you the next time. And don't forget to check out hashtag third Sunday prompt. And this Sunday was stitches. Thanks so much.